Just wanted to take a second to kind of get some of my feelings out from just some conversations that I just recently had, and some of the feelings that I'm holding on to and discovering are are laying underneath it all. I feel I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful and unappreciative of all of the love that I have surrounding me. I have so many beautiful people that value me and let me know that they value me. But I feel very unseen. I feel left out. I feel left out, forgotten about, pushed out, ignored in some of my contributions and things that I have invested a lot of time and energy into. And being honest, it hurts. It stings a little. Kind of stings a lot. This path has not been easy. It's not been easy at all, and I think that's part of why I don't feel like I have that. That's part of why I don't feel like I'm getting the support from certain people and certain communities that I desire it from. Is because people see either the exposure or anything that they think might be status or something, and they're less inclined to celebrate because they feel like I already have it, or something. So wanting to spread it around. I like to think that that is the case. I know some people feel that way when they see others reaching any kind of success or anything like that. I like to think that is that. But then I see support go to other people that have more than I do. So I can rest on knowing that it's that. And so I've dedicated my life to the queer community here in Portland, Oregon, and many other places in which I've traveled. And to be 34 years old, and I've dedicated 18 years of my life to creating space for people to feel comfortable and confident, and mentoring children, and marching in prides, and queering up spaces, starting the first alternative lifestyle support group at my high school, and being this kind of queer mascot that was used, my face, my image, my story was used often to get the queer perspective, or to look like the establishments were diverse and supportive. So much of my story, so much of my life has been lived out there for the purpose of visibility and of expanding the reach, accessibility. And so stories that I could have kept to myself, were exposed for the world to see for going on 20 years now, It's more than half my life. So when my school paper, asked if they could mention that I'm gay, and that's how I identified at the time, I said yes. And so, that's my sophomore year, I believe. And then high school, they asked, they did a write-up, and the Oregonian did a story, and on the front page of the Oregonian was of one of their sections, I can't remember excuse me, I can't remember if it was Living or the Metro section, but there's a picture of me, and it's telling my stories of my abuse and the drug use in my family, and asked if they could mention my being queer, and I said yes, and so I came out to the whole state, whole bunch of strangers, and all of my family. That's how my siblings found out. That's how my grandmother, my long lost dad. That's how they all found out about my queerness, was on the front page of one of the sections of the newspaper. I've performed in high school assemblies in heels. I've taught in high schools in heels. I've taught in colleges and rec centers when football players are running laps, and there I am in my heels, living my life, wearing a dress, just taking up space and being myself and wanting to reach whoever I could. And during that, traveling around for all this time, and many different articles and papers and stuff, and most of the queer magazines, most of the magazines here, the Oregonian and the Tribune and Willamette Weekly, the Mercury, the Queer Pages, Portland Monthly. There's all these things, all these queer publications, and all these other publications in general, like that I've shared my image or my story with, and this is locally, and won 3 different titles within the queer community. I was the first that I know of Black Mr. Gay Pride. I was in 2010, so I'm celebrating 10 years, which only myself and one of my fellow people that I reign with has acknowledged for ourselves. And I was the first and the only Mr. Gay Oregon, United States, excuse me, when that pageant system came here. And that would have been in maybe 2012, I believe. And then I was the first Mr. Northwest Fierce, 2015, 16. And then and that's all locally. Besides that, traveling around with a queer cabaret that went to all different red states and conservative places, conservative parts of Oregon and Utah, Wyoming, Alaska, Idaho, etc. Doing that and being in some music videos for local artists here, and being on America's Got Talent 4 years ago. On Netflix and iTunes, in a documentary called Burlesque, Heart of the Glitter Tribe, for my story to be told again, talking about my queerness and my upbringing and my family and my abuse and my trauma. All of this, I've done all this, sharing and marching, and I've done a whole bunch of interviews for a huge national razor company that they did end up using my story, but I told it and they took it. So in doing all of that and teaching the the hundreds, teaching like the thousands of kids that I've taught within this time, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, adults, ballroom people all the way to their 80s, to feel like my name is not included in conversations when honoring people here within this particular town that I'm born and raised and are dedicated so much time to. I have feelings about it, and it hurts. And I'm just admitting that. And I admit that to myself, and I'm admitting that to you, because it brings up a lot. So, saying it out loud makes me feel better. And the only reason why I feel the need to even kind of say part of my resume is because it seems like no one else will include mine while honoring other people. Have so much appreciation for Queen of Town, Rogue Safari, for checking in and showing me so much respect and love, and holding me as a elder in some way, shape, or form, and being receptive to my words and to my input, and asking for it, asking for info. I thank Henry so much. I thank Kimber for always remembering, for bringing my name up when no one else will, and remembering my impact on their life, of just seeing me, of being an out, proud, queer black man here in Portland, Oregon, in this very, very white city, with these 2 targets on my back, and still being able to show up the way that I was. And thank you for reminding me of that, and for expressing how that moment affected you. And thank you for standing up for me. I know that you would always fight for me, and I can't tell you how much love I have for you, for that, and all of what you're doing, and how you are able to lead and connect communities. I urge you to continue doing that, Kimber. It's really, really beautiful. Thank you, Henry. And always shout out to Courtney Capri Dove, because that is a queen that has always acknowledged me and my power, and has never had a hard time celebrating me while celebrating themselves. It takes nothing away from you to celebrate someone else's accomplishments, and Courtney Capri is a beautiful example that has always done that for me. We don't talk all the time, we're not super close in that way, but there's respect, so much respect, and love, and value that we place in each other, and I appreciate that so much. It makes a big difference. And so anyone else who sends me any messages, who tags me in something that expresses any way that I have inspired, or my journey has inspired you, much of it's not, doesn't have to be about me. It's a lot of messages and notions that come through me. That's what we all have to also understand, is sometimes it's really not about you. It's just about what you inspire in people, what is inspired in people through you, through your journey, through your words, and what lessons are put on you for others to learn. So thank you for anyone who ever tells me, and tells us, tells other people who are doing that, doing leaders and people that are in the public eye, you know. Thank you for any time that you acknowledge that that's not always an easy thing to do. So thank you to my husband, that always makes me feel special and reminds me of my contributions and how special I am. And that keeps me proud and humble and it's necessary. So I thank you for that. And yeah, I didn't realize it was just making me sad. Like, I want to leave a legacy, and I feel that I will when I'm gone. It would be really, really cool if some of that adoration from communities that I have contributed to, I'll say. It would be really special if that adoration was more visible while I'm here. When and while honoring others for similar work. And quite frankly, some for less work. I don't need to be brought up all the time. Only within those conversations of this topic in this particular town at this particular time. So, hope that makes any sense to anybody. I love you. I love you. Don't make your accomplishments small. You know how much work you had to go through. You know how hard it was. I know how hard it was. I know all the times of being left out. I know all the times of being made fun of. I know all the times of being harassed. I know all of the shows that wouldn't book me as I was. I know all the people that didn't allow me to wear heels, that made fun of me for wearing lipstick on stage, that made fun of me because I wasn't in drag with hips and with hair and the way that I danced. Everything that's made me me. I know how hard it's been. I know how hard it's been wearing heels to my freshman year, to wearing a formal sophomore year, wearing heels to school, to the club, going out clubbing, 14 years old, going downtown, dressing up. A lot of it, and I think that sometimes because of my appearance and the way that I choose to dress and express myself is more mild or something most days, because it's been, people think that I don't understand what it's like to be an even bigger walking target, to be publicly harassed just because of how you choose to walk out the door, because they don't see that part of it when they look at me now. And fortunately, most won't research or ask any questions to know any of the rest of my journey. And I don't dress differently now as a cop-out or the sellout or anything like that at all. It's because I've been actively doing this work. Been actively doing this work for 20 years. 20 out of my 34 years, I've been doing this work actively and publicly and nationally and internationally. I've been doing this work and being visible in this way to promote change, because I'm an introvert. I'm agoraphobic. I like being home. I'm comfortable there. The world is scary. I didn't just do this because I wanted praise and attention. That's not it. It's not it at all. I did this because it was a service and it was part of my activism and part of what I felt like I could offer. And it felt like that was what was demanded and required of me to leave this world a better place than how I found it. And so I've committed to that and I've done that. And I'm proud of that. But it's not been easy, and it's not for the reasons that many of you think. And now, because I get a chance to express so much of myself, I have words that I didn't have before because I was nonverbal for such a long time in my life, and because speaking was so hard for me because of my speech impediment, that I was silent, and so I didn't have words to express myself as well. So I'm making up for lost time there. It came out of my fashion, it came out in many different ways, but because I have words that I didn't have before, because I have a confidence that I did not possess before, or didn't harness before, and I'm able to have access and to bring all this out and express this in my art, on stage, and through teaching classes, and performing and teaching workshops and intensives and mentoring people, spending so much time back on stage expressing what I need to get out, that by the time I want to put something on to dress, I dress whatever is most comfortable for my body, what feels good, and when you are as exposed as my life has been, sometimes it feels good for a moment to stand out less, to kind of blend back, blend but never hide. It was comfortable to this introvert to blend, because I've said my statements, I vocalize them, I live them, and I fight for them all the time. And when I'm done doing that work for myself and for the community and for the world as I see it, I just sometimes want to put on some sweats, and I feel good about that. And when you play with so many different characters, and there's so many different ways that people can view you, put yourself out there publicly, there's so many different opinions that people can form from it. And in doing so, and playing all these different characters, I have really sunk into and dug my feet into who I am. You have to truly understand yourself on a really deep level to be able to let go of that, let go of your idea around it and how you're trying to hold yourself to become something else. Dive all the way into this character, let them take you, and don't try to hold back because, well, I would never say that, I would never do that, I would never wear that. When you're able to let go of that, that's when magic happens, and I am proud to say that I'm able to do that, because I know at the root of all of that of who I am. I know that. I know that. I've searched it. So the place that I am at now is it's been earned. It's definitely it's been earned, and I'm proud of it. I fought very hard for it. I've overcome a lot. I've fought many battles, many battles. I've won some, I've lost some, but I haven't won enough. So where I'm at now somehow fools you into thinking that the journey has been easier than it has been, and that I've done less with it than I have been, and that it's been more just all about me than it has been, then so be it, because I know, and many others know. And so if I'm not remembered by certain people who don't know that information, and again is distracted by what they see now, and so they're not inclined to want to find out more, or to find out things in the past. I make peace with that. So that's all. Hydration for the face never hurt. And happy celebration of my 10-year walk with Mystic Pride and my 18th Pride all together. I love you. Be kind to yourself. Love and light.